Good morning, children.
Good morning.
Which phylum we had completed in our previous class, Meenakshi? Which phylum? After the MCQ test, we got time to complete just one phylum. Yes? Ctenophora. Which is a unique feature of Ctenophora. One typical feature we learned of Ctenophora. Naureen, what is that?
It has 8 rows of ciliated comb plates located externally.
Very good. So 8 rows of ciliated comb plates you can find in Ctenophora, and hence the name Evelyn, and hence we even call it as Evelyn. Because of these comb plates, this group of organisms, they have got a particular name. What is that, Evelyn?
Comb jellies.
Louder.
Comb jellies.
Comb jellies. So hence we call them as comb jellies. Can you give one example, Malavika? One example for Ctenophora?
Ctenoplana.
Ctenoplana or pleurobrachia. Okay. So today we'll be learning about more phyla from animal kingdom. So let us see which one we are going to learn now. Okay. So the next phylum we are going to learn is Platyhelminthes. Anybody is remembering what we learned about Platyhelminthes in class 9? One typical feature, flat. Anybody is remembering?
Flatworms.
They are known as, Anna, very good. What do you mean by flatworms? What is special about their shape? What you said is correct.
Dorsoventral flat.
Excellent. So you are remembering. Okay. So you learned in 9th, right, no, Anna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So Platyhelminthes, they have a dorsi-ventrally flattened body, and we learn more features about Platyhelminthes. They are known as flatworms. The common name for this particular group of phylum is flatworms. The reason is their body is dorso-ventrally flattened. Dorso-ventrally flattened means the body is having a dorsal side, the upper side, and a lower ventral side. And they are flattened just like a leaf. Just think about a leaf. You'll get that. You get an idea regarding what is dorsi-ventrally flattened. They are flattened just like a leaf. Upper and lower side, it is flattened to form a thin leaf-like structure, and hence the name flatworms. And they show bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means, who can tell me what is bilateral symmetry?
Left and right.
Yes, Punya.
Left and right sides are symmetric.
Left and right sides are similar, you can't say bilateral symmetry. There is a proper definition. If an organism can be, Punya, try. If an organism can be divided into
2 equal half.
By how can you divide it? By
longitudinal axis.
By cutting it along a single plane passing through the median axis. Punya will repeat it. If an organism can be divided into right and left, identical right and left halves by cutting it along
longitudinal axis.
A particular plane, a single plane passing through the longitudinal or central or the longitudinal median axis. Now I want it in a sentence from you, Punya.
If an organism can be divided into 2 equal halves by dividing it along the central axis from the single plane.
Through a particular plane, only through a particular plane. Okay. Now, they are triploblastic. So, who will tell me what is triploblastic? Nevin, what is triploblastic? Try, triplo. Nevin, are you there?
Yes.
Triplo. Tri stands for what, Nevin?
3.
3. So, triploblastic means Having how many? Three. They have got 3 germ layers. So we call it as triploblastic. And acylomate. Rijas, what is meant by acylomate?
Missing a
A little louder.
absent of body cavity.
Absence of
Body cavity.
true body cavity. What do you call that body cavity? True body cavity?
Coelom.
It's there in the question. It's coelom. So their coelom or true body cavity is absent. So they are acylomate with organ level of organization. Organ level of organization means here cells are joined to form tissues. Tissues are joined together to form organs, but no organ systems. They are in the organ level. Several organs are there, but these organs are not joined together to form an organ system. So they are in the organ level of organization. Now, coming to the mode of nutrition, they have a parasitic mode of nutrition. You know what are parasites? So, parasites will be dependent upon the host for their nourishment. And the parasites, mostly, they'll be endoparasites. Endoparasites, either on animals or to be specific in human beings. Who can tell me what are endoparasites, Gayatri? Any clue?
Inside the body of the
Then what do you call for those organisms living outside? Parasites living outside?
Endo.
Endo inside. Outside? Ecto. So endoparasites means those which are living inside the body of the host. And these organisms might have hooks and suckers. So majority of them, they'll have some hooks and suckers on their bodies. What would be or what will be the reason? Why do they have these hooks and suckers? Sania, just guess why they should have hooks and suckers. Absorbing rather than that, other than that, usually why do you use hooks? In our daily life also we use some hooks. What is the purpose? Louder?
To stay in place.
To get attached, correct. So to get attached to the body of the host, they have hooks and suckers. As she said, as Gayatri said, for absorption of nutrients and even for attaching to the body of the host, they need hooks and suckers. Some of them, they absorb the nutrients directly from the host through their body surface. So some of the parasites, they might live on the outside of the host body and can take nourishment through the body surface. For example, the lice on human head. So they are living outside the body and they suck in blood through the skin surface. They suck in blood. They don't have to grow or live inside. Okay, so and even on the body of dogs and all, different type of ticks, mites, etc. will be there. They'll be living on the body surface and they'll be taking their share of nutrients from the host. So these are the points what we covered under platyhelminthes. So once again, quickly we will see what are the points. The common name for this group is flatworms, and from the name itself you will understand that their body is just flattened like a leaf or a ribbon. So dorso-ventrally flattened bodies. Symmetry exhibited is bilateral symmetry, and they are triploblastic with 3 germ layers, and they are acylomate, no coelom or true body cavity is absent, and they show organ level of organization, and the mode of nutrition is parasitic, and they can be majority of them, they are endoparasites living inside the body of the host. And the parasitic forms, all platyhelminthes are not parasites. To be noted, all the organisms coming under platyhelminthes or this animal phylum are not parasitic. Those which are parasitic, they have hooks and suckers to take nourishment or to get attached to the body of the host. And some of them, they can absorb nutrients directly through their body surface, just like in the case of lice and ticks. But to be noted, they are not coming under the category of platyhelminthes. I just told those examples to relate, to make you understand what is actually the difference between endo and ectoparasites. So some of the members of We'll see the examples. Some of the members of platyhelminthes, they can take in body from the host directly through their body surface. So before we proceed to more points, quickly you need to say that points. Don't take too much time. Quickly, one by one. Donna, fast. You can unmute. Everyone can unmute so that we will not waste time. Yes, Donna?
They are known as flatworms.
They are known as flatworms. Rijas, why we call them as flatworms?
Because they are dorsoventral flattened bodies.
Dorsi-ventrally flattened body. Then Malavika, next point.
But triploblastic.
They are triploblastic. Vidur, another point.
They are coelomate.
Coelomate. Nevin, another point.
They are parasites and others.
All are parasites.
No, some.
What adaptations these parasites have? Parasitic forms
They
and
have
what
hooks and
adaptations?
suckers.
Hooks and suckers. Sania. Can't hear you. Unmute.
Bilaterally symmetrical.
Bilaterally symmetrical. Nia.
Some forms absorb nutrients directly from the
Yes,
host body.
good. So we'll continue again. So here you can see the pictures of their internal structure. Then you can see their excretory organs found in platyhelminthes. You call it as flame cells because of its flame-like appearance. Then their nervous system. Okay, now coming back to the theory part. Excretion is brought about by, see, you can see a flame cell over here. It carries out excretion. Excretion is brought about by flame cells. And not only excretion, they also play a major role in osmoregulation. Anybody have an idea what is osmoregulation? Anyone? Anybody? Punya?
Water related.
Correct. Balance of water and one more substance. Anybody?
Oxygen.
Louder.
Oxygen.
No. Along with water, something else is also getting transported to different parts of your body. Salts. So the maintaining the balance of water and salts in our body is known as osmoregulation. So these flame cells, they play dual role. One is they help in excretion, and by excreting they help in maintaining the balance of salts and water in their body. So starting from platyhelminthes to our vertebrates, for all organisms osmoregulation plays a very important role in maintaining the proper health of the organism. Is my voice echoing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next is about reproduction. So excretion we understood. You don't have to learn all the details, but just learn the names of these specific organs which carries out which carries out osmoregulation as well as excretion. Now coming to reproduction, they are hermaphrodites. Who will tell me what are hermaphrodites? Now read. Yes, Nevin.
Both sexes are on the same thing.
Once again.
Both sexes on the same.
Correct. So both the same organism will have male and female sex organs. So you call such organisms as hermaphrodites. If not, you call them as dioecious. When sexes are separate, you call them as dioecious. Already I think I've mentioned you what is dioecious. Platyhelminthes are hermaphrodites. Fertilization is internal. Fusion of male and female gametes will take place inside the body of the organism. And here, larval stages are involved. So a metamorphosis, or it involves metamorphosis. So development includes the larval stages. And another very, very important property of some members of this group is that they have the ability to regenerate. One typical example for an organism capable of regenerating is planaria. 10th standard, have you heard about planaria? Have you learned? Children, have you heard about regeneration in planaria?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. So, if an organism, if this particular organism, if you divide, just 1 minute, let me take the pen. If a planaria, if you divide it into 3 halves. Just imagine 1, 2, and 3. We are making it into 3 pieces. The first piece can regenerate second and third one. The second piece can regenerate the remaining parts, first and third. And same goes with the third portion or the third part also. So if you divide its body into different parts, each part can regenerate the whole organism. That is why we say some members of this group have got the ability to regenerate. Then some examples: tapeworm, Taenia, fasciola. Fasciola, another name is liver fluke, and Taenia, tapeworm, found in the intestine of human beings. So tapeworm and fasciola, Taenia, fasciola, these are 2 typical examples for phylum Platyhelminthes. So once again, the points which we discussed in this slide will quickly summarize. The first point was about excretion. Excretion is brought about by flame cells. Is only excretion carried out by them? No. Along with excretion, they carries out osmoregulation too. Now reproduction is internal. These are hermaphrodites, which means both male and female sex organs are found in the same organism, and the development includes a larva. There is metamorphosis involved, or else you can say here development is indirect. Then, and some of the members are having high regeneration capacity. Typical example is planaria or flatworm. Other examples, Taenia, fasciola, planaria also you can say. And these are some of the examples for Platyhelminthes. Is it clear, children? Any doubts? Some of the examples you can find: a planaria, then liver fluke, and then tapeworm on the right side. So left side of your screen you can find liver fluke. Then you can see tapeworm also. Both the picture and the real one you can find. Real one means a specimen you can find on the right hand side, and you call it as tapeworm because it's ribbon like or tape like. Okay. So before we proceed to the next one, what all new points we learned in the next slide? Who is going to say?
They have flame.
They have flame cells. Why do they have? Okay, Sania, I'll ask Michael. Michael, what are the functions of flame cells?
They help in osmoregulation.
Osmotic
and
issue.
Osmoregulation.
Osmoregulation and also excretion. Michael, what is meant by osmoregulation?
It's balancing the water and salts in the body.
Yes, good. Then next point. Nevin, next point.
Hermaphrodites.
They are hermaphrodites. Okay, which means both sexes are found in the same organism. Then Nandana, another point.
Internal fertilization and
internal fertilization and
development is indirect.
okay, involves the larval stage. Any other point we missed out? Gayatri?
They have high regeneration capacity.
High regeneration capacity. Anthony, tell me, Platyhelminthes, a member of Platyhelminthes with regeneration capacity.
Planaria.
Oh God, good. So you two started listening. Planaria. Okay, then we'll continue. So which is the next phylum we need to learn in order? If you go, which is next? Anybody? After Platyhelminthes, which phylum comes?
Ascominthes.
Ascominthes. Okay, the next one is Ascominthes, and the typical or the most prominent difference between Platyhelminthes and Ascominthes is that Platyhelminthes, their body was body is dorso-ventrally flattened, but in Ascominthes, their body is cylindrical. So you call them as roundworms. Roundworms, not in terms of, or we don't mean it as circular or bowl-like or circular structure. They are known as roundworms in terms of they are long and they are circular, cylindrical in shape. So rather than being flattened, they are cylindrical in shape. Rounded body they have, okay? Not flattened body. So general name is roundworms, and because you call them as roundworms, if you take a cross section, if you take a cut section of this, you will get cross section and longitudinal section. I hope you know the difference. Cross section, you cut it latitudinally and take it, okay, horizontally, not vertically. So you get a circular cross section. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical. Already we learned what is bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic. Then here, when compared to the previous phylum, two major differences. In Platyhelminthes, I told you they are acoelomate. But here, the coelom is pseudocoelom. And this is the only phylum with pseudocoelom. So it is, you can consider this as a unique feature of the phylum Aschelminthes, or even you call it as Nematoda. Nematoda, Aschelminthes, both are same. So Aschelminthes, they are having pseudocoelom, fake coelom, false coelom, where the mesoderm form scattered pouches. Okay, rather than lining the entire coelom, they form scattered pouches. You call it as false, or pseudo means false. They form false coelom. And here the level of organization is organ system level. In the previous one we learned it is organ level. Here a group of organs have joined together and they've started forming organ system level of organization. Then nutrition. In the previous one, we said about parasitic mode. Most of them are parasitic. Here we can find, in the previous one also free living and parasitic ones are there, but majority are parasitic. So here too, you can find both free living and parasitic. Free living means they don't need a host to survive, whereas some of them are parasitic. They need the presence of a host to complete their life cycle and to survive. So they can be free living or they can be parasitic. Alimentary canal is complete. Who will tell me what is complete alimentary canal?
Two different openings.
So the point already we mentioned, known as roundworms, because the body is circular in cross section. Bilateral symmetry is found. They are triploblastic, pseudocoelomate with organ system level of organization, and they can be free living or they can be parasitic. And complete alimentary canal or complete digestive system means same thing. They have got two openings. When it is incomplete, only one opening which serves both as mouth and anus. If it is complete digestive system or complete alimentary canal, they will have two separate openings. One will function as mouth and the other for excretion as anus. So here alimentary canal is well developed, or it is complete with well developed muscular pharynx. They also have a muscular pharynx with two distinct openings. So hope you got all those points. Once again, I will repeat. You call them as roundworms. They are circular in cross section, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, pseudocoelomate. Very important. They are pseudocoelomate. They have organ system level of organization. They can be free living or it can be parasitic also. They can parasitize plants or animals. Then complete alimentary canal, and they have well developed muscular pharynx. Moving on to the next point, that is about excretion. In the previous one, in Platyhelminthes, the excretory organs were known as flame cells. And here the excretion is carried out by an opening known as excretory pore. You can see in the picture, excretory pore. Hope you have seen the opening. On the top, it is marked as excretory pore. And the reproduction. Reproduction, here the sexes are separate. In platyhelminthes, I told you, they are hermaphrodites. So all these differences, I told it's better to make a table and learn. If you're asked to write the differences between roundworms and or the Aschelminthes and Platyhelminthes. Already we discussed a few differences. The first point is that in Platyhelminthes, body is dorsally ventrally flattened. But here the body is cylindrical. They are roundworms. The first one, flatworms. Then another point what we said is in Platyhelminthes, no coelom, no true body cavity. But here they have a pseudocoelom or false body cavity. Then the next point what we need to know is there the excretion is carried out by flame cells. Here it is carried out with the help of an excretory pore. Then in Platyhelminthes we learned that the sexes are united or they are hermaphrodites. But here they are dioecious, sexes are separate. If you compare and learn, you will never forget. Otherwise what happens is by the end, by the time you finish learning all the phyla, you will be confused which point to write under which phylum. But always try to compare and learn so you will never forget. And another thing is that learn it in the same sequence or same order. Don't bring vertebrata in the beginning or porifera towards the end or in the middle. So let it go in order. The reason is the complexity of these phyla will increase as we proceed from the lowest one to the highest one. So you will come to know that levels of organization, then presence of coelom, all that, it will be easy for you to remember. Females are, they are dioecious, sexes are separate, separate male and female organs are there. And females are longer than males. Females are longer than males. Okay, females will be longer than males. Fertilization, internal. Direct development or indirect development. So in direct development, the young ones maybe they don't have a typical larval stage. The young one, just like in human beings, the young ones will be resembling the adult. But the human babies, we don't say them as larva. So they'll be resembling the adult. So in that case, you can call it as direct development, or it can be indirect in case a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the parent is involved. Examples, Ascaris, the roundworm. Ascaris can cause a disease known as ascariasis found in your intestine. Then Wuchereria, filarial worm, which causes filariasis. Filariasis, are you familiar with it? It's spread by mosquito. Do you know what is this filariasis? Anybody? We even call it as elephantiasis. Huh? Anybody?
I know the name elephantiasis.
Oh, it's a very familiar one where maybe if I say you the name, Manda you might be knowing. You know what is Manda? Have you heard about that disease? Where your limbs get swollen. Yes or no, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here the fluid or the lymphatic fluid or this will attack your lymphatic vessels. The fluid gets blocked and swelling of the limbs and mainly the limbs and even genital organs can get affected. In 12th standard you will be learning more about it. Then ancylostoma, not cyclostoma, sorry, and ancylostoma or hookworm. So Wuchereria, ascariasis, ancylostoma are some examples for phylum Aschelminthes. Once again, excretion is carried out with the help of an excretory pore. They are dioecious, females being longer than males. Internal fertilization, development can be the direct or indirect. Ascariasis, ancylostoma and Wuchereria are some examples. Ascariasis commonly called as roundworm and Wuchereria commonly known as filarial worm, ancylostoma commonly known as hookworm. So these are the points we learned about. Which one? Aschelminthes. So one by one, tell me the points and then we'll wind up the session. Donna?
Ma'am, fertilization is internal.
Fertilization internal. Nandana?
Triploblastic, pseudocoelomate,
Triploblastic,
pseudocoelomate,
pseudocoelomate. Then, Meenakshi.
And they
Meenakshi,
have an organ system level of organization.
organ system level of organization. Vidur.
Remove is through excretory pore.
Very good. Then, Gayatri.
Sexes are separate.
Sexes are separate or dioecious. And when we said sexes are separate, one only unique feature we said, the females will be.
Females are longer than males.
Any other point we missed out, Punya?
Internal or external, indirect development.
Internal,
Direct or indirect development.
indirect what?
Larval state.
Punya, indirect,
or
direct what?
development.
Where are you, child? In between, some connectivity problem there also I feel. Okay, thank you, children. So the participants will meet in the evening. Okay, thank you, children. See you next class.
Thank you.